question I get often is whether to implement cardio or weight training. And today I want to talk about the importance of implementing both. So I use cardio for cardiovascular benefits, stress relief, and being at a caloric deficit when dieting. And I use weight training as a method to increasing strength and building a certain physique in order to look athletic. Another reason why it's important to implement weight training is because it increases your BMR, which is your basal metabolic rate.
Read me a story, read me a rhyme.
So I'm going to explain what BMR is in a short story. Basal metabolic rate. So this is essentially the calories you burn at rest. So let's take, for example, Jane and Sally. So let's say that Jane doesn't really like to strength train. She only does cardio. And Sally likes to do both, and she implements a lot of strength training in her workouts. So she's got a little bit more muscle. And let's say that Jane and Sally are at the same weight. So let's say they both weigh 120 pounds. However, because Sally likes to do a lot of strength training, she has a BMR of 1200 calories per day, and Jane really only does cardio and hasn't really developed a lot of muscle. So her BMR is 1000 calories per day. And let's say that Jane and Sally both go on vacation. And so on vacation, they're not really doing too much cardio or weight training. They're really just enjoying their trip. And let's take an example of where they eat around 1500 calories per day. I know it's not very realistic to count your calories on vacation, but let's just put a number towards it so it can make my example more concrete. If they're both eating around 1500 calories per day, doing the same activities, so essentially they're going to be expending the same amount of energy. So everything is the same. Well, let's say that they ate 1500 calories and per day Sally burns 1200 calories just being at rest without doing any activity. I know that they did the same activity, but we can kind of not take this into account because they did the same activities. So we want to take factors that are different. So Sally would be at a surplus of 300 calories because that would be 1500 minus 1200. And Jane would be at a surplus of 500 calories per day. So let's say they went on vacation for 7 days. If we multiply this surplus by the 7 days, Jane would have been up around 3,500 calories over the whole vacation, whereas Sally would have been up 2,100 calories. So if we look at the surplus, because Jane didn't have as high of a BMR as Sally, and taking into account that they ate the same amount of calories per day, Jane, at the end of the vacation, would have gained almost 1 pound. So she would be around 121 pounds. And Sally, she would have gained around half a pound, so 120.5. And so you can see here that doing strength training and trying to increase your BMR is actually a good thing. You want a higher BMR. It's good. So another conclusion we can come to is that cardio is really not enough. Cardio is good for its cardiovascular benefits and also at helping you be at a caloric deficit when dieting, but it should not be the only thing you implement in your workout schedule. I'm briefly going to explain why strength training increases your BMR. So when you strength train, you're going to build muscle. And muscle requires a lot more calories to maintain. So this is why your BMR goes up. Muscles are kind of like the motor of a vehicle. And in order to get that motor running, you got to feed it gas. And so calories are kind of like what you eat, and it's kind of like the gas. And so you want to do strength training so you can increase your basal metabolic rate so that your body needs more calories in order to maintain itself. And so given two people, one with a higher BMR and one with a lower BMR, going on vacation, eating the same amount of calories, the person with the higher BMR will be able to burn off these calories at a higher rate per day than the person with the lower BMR.
One eternity later.
So right now, my goals are to build strength. And so I do a 5-day split where Monday, Wednesday, and Friday I do lower body, which mostly includes squats and deadlifts. Tuesdays and Thursdays I do upper body and cardio. Both should be implemented in your weekly workouts. However, the dosage of cardio and weight training really depends on what your goals are. I've got 2 videos in the personal training and nutrition coach series that will show you how to build your strength and show you how to implement cardio properly when dieting. And I'll be linking these 2 videos below. So what are you waiting for? Get out there, go do some cardio and get stronger.